Parliament will be given another say this week on whether to give prisoners the vote, as the deadline for Britain to comply with a European ruling on the controversial issue looms on Friday. The UK's current blanket ban on prisoners voting has been ruled unlawful by the European Court of Human Rights. But last February, the Commons voted overwhelmingly for the ban to be maintained. Well, our Home Affairs correspondent Simon Israel is with me now. And David Cameron's been very clear that he doesn't want to give prisoners the vote. Is he going to get his way?
He made perfectly clear last month that over his dead body would prisoners get the right to vote. Now, what's crucial is, as the deadline looms this week from the Council of Ministers, MPs will be presented with a bill with a series of options this week, probably on Thursday, although the Ministry of Justice won't confirm what's in the bill yet. But I understand the following options are to be proposed. The first is that the prisoners jailed for 4 years or less will get the vote, or prisoners in prison for less than 6 months or less will get the vote, or there will be no vote at all for any prisoners. Now, you have to remember, it's now 7 years since I accompanied John Hirst, who brought this case against the government, to Strasbourg for the government's final appeal, which it lost. And I spoke to him today up at his home in Hull, and I asked him what the consequences were of the delay. And he said to me that the costs are now getting higher, growing higher and higher for compensation claims.
What they've been told by Europe, and quite firmly, is you will do this, you must do this. If you do not do this, then they will rule on the 3,500 cases backlogged in the European Court of Human Rights and award damages to them.
But this isn't about compensation, is it?
No, it isn't. But it's the most immediately crucial issue, because the compensation claims could run into millions of pounds. And what the government has done, some lawyers think very cleverly, is they've read the very fine print of these judgments and are doing the absolute minimum in order to, if you like, delay any confrontation with the Council of Europe. So what they're trying to do, basically, is to table proposed legislation.
Part of what the UK has to do is that the government has to simply propose legislation by this week. Once that happens, time will have ceased to tick on that requirement. The 6-month time limit for the UK will have passed, and essentially the government will have succeeded in making this a diplomatic game again in the Committee of Ministers in Strasbourg.
So, and crucially, it'll buy the government time. It will avoid a complete collision with the European Court and the Council of Ministers. It will delay the compensation claims. The bill will be presented. It may take many months to travel through Parliament, and ultimately, at the end, MPs may reject it, and we start the whole process all over again.
Thanks, Simon.